What is up, guys? It is your boy Jaramon, and today I am very excited because in this box is a top 5, maybe even top 3 sneaker for me of all time. This is a bona fide grade A, whatever you want to call it. This is a grail for me. I'm serious, guys. This sneaker is something that I've always wanted. However, it did come at a price. Now, this is actually my first time ever seeing this sneaker in person, so I am very excited to see this in my possession. Finally, it's actually being added to my collection, and I'm extremely happy to share this with you guys. So let's take a look. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I can't believe it. It's finally happening. Here they are, guys. The Kobe 5, Bruce Lee's, the Protros. You guys already know, one of the most anticipated sneakers of the year. But the question I have to ask you guys is this sneaker worth the $400 that I paid for it? I think you already know the answer. All right, so obviously you guys know that these are the Bruce Lee Kobe 5s, one of the most anticipated sneakers of the entire year. But honestly, when Nike first announced their Protro line a few years back, this was one of the few sneakers that people already had on their mind. Even though Nike said, hey, we're starting with the Kobe 1, we don't know where we're gonna go from there. We all kind of assumed they were gonna go from the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4, and they were gonna go in order, but they actually skipped around a little bit. They skipped the 2 and the 3, they went straight to the 4, which, if you haven't checked out my review on them, was a pretty disappointing release for a lot of different reasons. With the Kobe 5s, it seems that Nike has taken the Protro philosophy of like upgrading previous Kobe Bryant shoes. They seem to take in a half step back, and they're like, look, these sneakers, they're great already. They don't need much improvement. We're just gonna give everybody what they want. New colorways as well as the classic ones like these Bruce Lees. And they also dropped a new alternate version of the Bruce Lees, which is black and white, and I'm really hoping that I'm going to add those to my collection very soon as well. But I just had to pick up the OGs because this is a shoe that I've wanted ever since Kobe first rocked them. I think back in 2010. Now, back in 2010, I was broke. I was just graduating high school. I had no money, so I couldn't really pick these up. And even if I did have money, it's not like I could pick these up anyways because they did not drop where I lived back home in Maui. So this was a really hard sneaker for me to get. And the reason why I love this sneaker is not only because is it a Kobe 5, which is one of the best basketball shoes of all time performance-wise. And in my personal opinion, again, it's just a matter of opinion, I think it's one of the best looking basketball sneakers of all time as well. But this colorway is a Bruce Lee colorway, right? And it's got the black, it's got the yellow, which has become synonymous with Bruce Lee thanks to that movie where he's wearing that black and yellow jumpsuit, which actually my mom's boyfriend way back in the day was telling me about Bruce Lee. I had no idea about him. And he told me, hey, you like the Lakers? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was a Laker great, obviously, he was in a movie with Bruce Lee and he kicked him in the chest. And when Kareem kicked him in the chest, he left a huge footprint across his entire torso. And I'm sitting there like, okay, he's exaggerating. There's no way that an entire footprint was on Bruce Lee's chest. But then we rented the movie on VHS. Again, this was way back in the day. And lo and behold, Kareem kicked him right in the chest and left a huge footprint across the entire front of his body. And from then on, Bruce Lee was just an absolute legend to me. Then we had the Kill Bill movies where obviously Uma Thurman was wearing a similar tracksuit. Black and yellow is just such an iconic color scheme, especially when you associate it with legends like Bruce Lee and now Kobe Bryant. Now, like I said earlier, I spent up to $400 on these, which is way over retail. These retail for $180. But the main reason why I pulled the trigger on these on the aftermarket is because I panicked. I struck out on the sneakers app like probably most of us did on both of the colorways, the OGs and the alternates. And I just put a bid on StockX. I put my phone away And one morning I woke up and it said, your bid has been accepted. It was up, my bid was like $340, but after all the processing and shipping, it became like $394. So the question I'm gonna ask you guys today is, how much is this sneaker worth to you? Because I asked earlier in the video if these are actually worth the $400 that I paid for them. And for me personally, they totally are. I am totally fine with the money that I spent on these. If not for the reasons that I talked about earlier with the whole Bruce Lee and the connection to the Lakers and it being a Kobe Bryant sneaker. Obviously he passed away, so his sneakers have become more coveted. But if you guys watch my performance reviews, you guys know that I'm a huge believer in the look good, feel good, play good sentiment, right? If you wear a pair of sneakers that just makes you feel good. This is why I like playing in all black sneakers, because when I rock all black sneakers, I feel like a complete badass. And this particular shoe in this colorway is gonna make me feel like a badass. And yes, I spent $400 on a pair of kicks that I'm going to wear on the basketball court for that very reason of looking good, feeling good, and potentially playing good. It's not a guarantee, but I'm just going to feel like a complete warrior out there on the court. And I'm gonna make this shoe, if I have a big rec league game or if I need to play good, I know that one dude who fouled me really hard is gonna be at the gym. I'm gonna make sure to rock these because I wanna bring my A game. And that to me is worth the $400 that I spent on these. But again, that does not mean you guys should spend $400 on these, but I really wanna know, how much are you willing to spend on the Bruce Lee Kobe 5 Protros? Let me know in the comment section below. But a small little note is, they fit pretty snug. So if you've ever thought Nike sneakers fit a little snug, these definitely will. So if you're afraid of that, or if you have a really wide foot, make sure you go up half a size. But for me personally, this is why I get size 10.5 in all my other sneakers, because Kobe's is what I mainly wore back in the day, and a size 10.5 in Kobe's is perfect for me. The way the shoe fits around my foot is just flawless. It's really a second skin-like experience, but that doesn't mean it's going to be like that for you. Everybody's feet is shaped differently, so it might fit a little different for you, but that's why Kobe's, not only is he like my favorite basketball player of all time, but his shoes just warp to my foot flawlessly. And that's why, again, I'm just so pumped to have these in my collection. I mean, just look at these guys. They're absolutely beautiful. Black, yellow, red, and look at the outsole, all black outsole. That traction looks absolutely crazy. And then right there on the forefoot, you have that splash of red. They're just perfect. I really don't know what else to say. Other than these, I think the only other pair of Kobe's that are on my like grail list are the Grinches, as well as the Aston Martin pack, which came with a pair of Hyper Dunks, which I don't think Nike's going to retro or Protro anytime soon, if at all. But they're definitely gonna drop the Grinches sometime during the holiday season. I think next year, maybe, but either way, leaked images of the Kobe 6 Grinch Protro have leaked online. One guy I think actually has a review on them on YouTube. But that's another pair of Kobe's that I'm really excited to get, and I'm probably going to have to drop another $400 or $500, maybe even $600. Don't tell Camera Bay that. But look, at the end of the day, there's not much I could say. I just absolutely had to add these to my collection. And make sure you follow me on Instagram, because the first thing I'm gonna do with these is take some amazing photos of these. So make sure you follow me at Geramon. There's a link in the description box below. And also don't forget to let me know if you guys think I spent too much, too little, or just the right amount on these. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. It helps me out a lot. My name is Jaren. It's been great having you. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.